What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. We've got a great one lined up for you today because, yes, crypto crashed last night and has not fully recovered just yet. The reasons for that are pretty clear. There's a new technology out there in China called DeepSeek, and it is part of the reason. In fact, it's the whole reason why crypto prices are crashing, and there's a chance we could go even deeper. But we're going to explore a deep scenario in which there's actually a massive lie being told. This was a manipulated crash only so that richer and wealthier investors can buy the dip one last time. We'll explore all of those details and a whole lot more. If you enjoy this show, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. But first, we got to roll an intro. I love it. Laugh Hole says even deeper crash. Pun intended? Maybe. Welcome to the Investing Bros Show, guys. I really do apologize for being 3 minutes late. We pride ourselves on not being late. 2 minutes before we went live, my internet completely cut out. And there's a small chance that it cuts out again. So if you guys see me disappear, freeze up, go with it. Tshroom's going to take the show. We're going to keep going on because there's a lot to discuss here. But hopefully, the internet works just fine and we can get all this stuff discussed. That being said, I got to introduce these two great gentlemen sitting right beneath me. Got Smay over here on the right. I got Tshroom on the left. How are you guys doing today? That's simple. All right.
I'm doing swell.
There we go.
But you said both at the same time. I was going to wait for him to go, and then,
Smay,
it got a little
you've been doing
awkward,
the show now for like a month and a half. We always go Smay first and then Tshroom.
I know. Maybe I was just like, the first will be last, and maybe today
Listen,
was just
you were
different.
making me think my Wi-Fi cut out again because no one was talking to me, and it was really starting to hurt my feelings.
Aw.
There we go.
Funny,
All right, there we go.
funny.
Tshroom, how are you doing today?
Classic video call prank there from Smay. I'm doing better than I deserve, Tim. I've got to be honest with you. Although some of my portfolio is down, I can't help but think this is why I am in the frontier technology wave. I love being here. It's so interesting. I have made a lot of money, and I'm down a little bit today, but that's okay. That's okay, because you and I and Smay and the bros, this is what we do best. Navigating these markets, trying to figure out what actually could move the markets back to the upside. Should we go short? Is there not going to be upside? We're going to answer all these questions. And guess what? Today, we don't have all the answers. The rest of the week, the markets are going to help us figure out what the answers are. I'm definitely better than I deserve, Tim.
This is good stuff. We got a super chat here from Davey Cake saying, don't fret, first to 75, then to 240, all as planned. Davey, we're going to actually talk about a potential worst case scenario area to keep an eye on. Not that we're going to project and predict that it ends up happening, but we got to be covered on all bases here. So love the super chat. I don't know about 75. We'll talk about that here in just a couple of minutes. But before we get into the bubbles, which I'll give you a little bit of a teaser. The bubbles are red today. We're down a lot today in the last 24 hours. We're going to look at those. We're going to look at the charts. First, as we've been doing over the last week and some change, let's throw it to Tshroom and get a quick 1 minute synopsis rundown. What news stories are we covering today?
All right. Well, I'm going to summarize everything as DeepSeek has caused a big stir in the AI investment thesis, which was already full of excess investment. In addition to that, though, we do have some bullish news. MicroStrategy has acquired 10,107 Bitcoin for $1.1 billion. Their average entry now 64,511. So MicroStrategy, they bought at 105,500 earlier yesterday. So a little bit of a terrible timing there for MicroStrategy that they did buy more Bitcoin. In addition, Russia's largest energy supplier, Rossetti, to launch Bitcoin mining operations in areas with excess electricity. So those are the headlines. Obviously, the biggest one by far is going to be the DeepSeek headline that's disproportionately affecting NVIDIA and other AI companies. But we'll be spending a decent amount of time trying to unravel everything that's going on there.
Absolutely. Davey Cakes with another super chat says, if it hits 75, may I guest I have a beard and a hat? I mean, that's pretty much the only requirements of being on the show. So you got us on that one, Davey Cakes. We'll talk about it. We'll see. If it hits 75, we'll discuss if you come on the show or not. Shout out, though, for the super chat. Let's take a look at these bubbles. Let's get a look at the charts. As I said before, sea of red, a lot of red. In fact, very little green. One green right here, DEXA. A little bit in the green. So if you guys invest in DEXA, you made a little money today. Other than that, I'm double checking. If you guys see it and I don't, let me know. I think 99 bubbles on this screen are red, and only one is green. I fact check me if you want. Everything is in the red because of DeepSeek. But let's get into the specifics of what that is looking like on the charts, as I want to start doing, especially on days where people are feeling a little fearful. People are getting a little discouraged. Let's zoom out before we freak out. Is Bitcoin doing anything crazy bearish? No, it's not. We're still setting higher highs and higher lows. Let's zoom in here. Let's discuss what has happened, right? We're going to talk about what could happen next, but it's always good to say, all right, let's just focus on what we see is clear, is 100%, and then we can focus on what's possible in the future. What's 100% is at the moment, the support level that we bounced off of today during this crash in crypto came down to 97,800. You can see the wick right here on this daily candle. But coincidentally, we'll zoom in here really nicely, it kisses that red line just perfectly. What is that red line? That is a falling channel that we had been tracking. This is a level of former resistance that we broke above back here on January 17th, and we've tested it twice before. Well, this big pullback tested it once again. But something I do love right now, as we are developing with a large wick to the downside, if you guys follow technical analysis, if you pay attention to it, large wicks to the downside can often have bullish implications. Take a look at the last couple times we've had massive wicks to the downside. You kind of count some of this area. We went to the upside. This was an indecision candle because we had a massive wick to the upside. But take a look right here on January 16th. Take a look right here on January 13th. Take a look over here on the 8th and the 9th. Long story short, more often than not, these long wicks do end up being a form of a reversal in theory. So that's what we know right now. What we know is that we bounced on a former level of resistance. We call that a return, a retest. And it's very, very bullish. Nothing right now is screaming bearish whatsoever. I know the news does. I know the fear does. I know a lot of people are freaking out thinking we're going to break to the upside. And if we're being honest, again, this comes down to probabilities-wise. Go back to this. If we can replay this and come back to this candle, cut out all this negative price action over the last 24 hours, I still, 8 out of 10 times, am going to expect this price action to break to the upside. Why do I expect it to break to the upside? Well, this is a symmetrical triangle pattern. Lower highs and higher lows, right? A very clean, nice consolidation pattern. Symmetrical triangles in and of themselves are kind of neutral, but you always go back and take a look. Okay, what was the price action leading into that symmetrical triangle pattern? Was it bullish or was it bearish? More often than not, again, 70 to 80% of the time, symmetrical triangle patterns that have bullish price action leading into them break to the upside. 70 to 80% of the time, symmetrical triangle patterns that have bearish price action leading into them. So if the price had been coming like this, they more often than not go to the downside. So even though we know now, looking in hindsight, that we broke to the downside, I'll let this play out for you. Come down here. I still want people to walk away from this understanding this was more of a manipulated move, a less probable move. We did make it to the downside, and we have to deal with that. We have to wrestle with the consequences and understand how to invest in the future. But don't be discouraged in the future looking at symmetrical triangle patterns that are bullish. Don't get discouraged. Don't go away from the trend. More often than not, if you play the probabilities game, which is all you can do in the world of investing, the probabilities are it should be breaking to the upside. Now, let's pause for a second and understand, why am I saying this so much? We had a Tim's Take this morning. Tim's Take, by the way, is a private live show that we do, an undisclosed YouTube live stream that we only put out to our Discord members. Not our paying Discord members, actually all the free ones. So anyone who goes and subscribes to our free Discord, you can stay tuned, and 2 to 3 times a week, we have what we call Tim's Take, a 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time live show where I cover the markets. And I talked very heavily this morning about this detail, what I'm about to say, because we're going to explore further details of this. What's the next move for Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin, depending on some circumstances, could be about to rally. I showed you, if you go back to my screen, a big reason why we're looking at some support right in this range of former resistance level. This could be very good arguments, and we'll make some more further in the show that could project Bitcoin's price action to shoot to the upside. However, we'll also talk about some details that could send Bitcoin to the downside. What do we call this? Bitcoin could go up or it could go down. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's a lot of people you'll see in chat. There's a lot of people you see over the internet who say, oh, look at this, could go up, could go down. Great technical analysis, bud. It doesn't hurt my feelings. You can say it all. In fact, I want all of you guys to go ahead and type that in. Good analysis, bud. It'll make me feel a lot better. Engage in chat. Anyone who has that expression of negativity because of analysis that says could go up, could go down, tell me the person that says that, and I'll show you somebody who's not good at trading, who's probably lost a lot of money and now just wants to take their pain out on other people. To dislike the expression could go up, could go down is a form of foolishness when it comes to the markets. Because of what I just said, there's no way to know 100% what's about to happen. In the same way, if you're playing blackjack at a poker table in Las Vegas, there's no way to know what the next card's going to be. However, if you possess the skills of knowing how to count cards, how to count the probabilities, how to understand different things, your chances and likelihoods of winning dramatically increase. In the same breath, understanding how the charts work, understanding how to read the news does not give you an 100% probability of guessing the right direction at all times, but it does increase your ability and probability of being correct. But the best traders and the best investors in the world, going back to my screen, understand how to look at a situation, look at the charts, analyze and say, you know what? Things could go up or things could go down. These are my key levels of resistance above us. These are my key levels of support beneath us. I want to see what happens in the news, and I want to see what happens on the charts. If we go to the upside and we break a certain level, I'll be bullish, and the probability of going to the upside increases. But if we break a certain level and come to the downside, the probability to the downside increases. And good traders and investors prepare themselves for either situation, and that's exactly what we're going to do right now. Bitcoin, at the moment, has a good chance of bouncing back to the upside. Notice a good, not perfect, not 100%, but a good chance of backing back to the upside. We have high volume coming in as we're bottoming out. That's a good indication of a reversal indicator. As you start to look at things like the 4-hour chart, we are very close to getting a 4-hour buy signal on the Lux Algo Oscillator. We have ourselves a nice green reversal right here, a green momentum indicator, and then you zoom in nice and close. It looks like our money flow that's been negative here for a little bit wants to go positively. If this is the case and this ends up triggering, this bare minimum would send the price of Bitcoin all the way back up here, back towards 103,700. That would be back towards, this wouldn't be an extremely bullish breakout, but that would be back up towards a former support level, and bare minimum will just retest it in the same way we've just pulled back and retested a former resistance level. All right. If that 4-hour chart gets broken, all of a sudden the freedom on the higher time frames, like the daily and the 2 daily and the 3 daily, they start to actually give us momentum to say, hey, we're hitting some major support right now, not only this form of resistance, but major pullback levels from a daily sell signal we got not that long ago. Once we bounce off these levels, if we can emerge back above this key level right here, and you're going to find some resistance on the 4-hour chart, not just from that smart trail, but we have order blocks in that same camp as well. All of a sudden, you return to being bullish, and we're probably days, if not hours away from hitting brand new all-time highs and continuing to the upside. That would be a big part of a manipulative move. We're going to talk about this a lot with DeepSeek and what got played out, but in a bullish scenario, this was a brilliant and beautiful flush to the downside, confuse and create fear, uncertainty, and doubt amongst retail investors, scare them into where they capitulate and sell their crypto, only for the whales, the institutions, the billionaires to buy that up and send price back to the upside, okay? So what we're looking for to definitively talk about where's our level of saying we're very confident about the bulls are back and new all-time highs are coming and we're going to explode, probably looking in here at a 4-hour breakout above the smart trail, probably sitting in the camp of roughly $105,000. All right. So if Bitcoin can get back up and break above $105,000 with some increased volume, the bull market is officially back on. we're probably hours, if not days away from brand new all-time highs, shooting to much higher levels. That's what we're looking at. That's the if. And I think there's a very good probability of that being the case. I do want to prepare you guys before we get into the conversation about DeepSeek and about the different things in play right now that are manipulating the markets back and forth. There is something I want you guys to be aware of right now when it comes to Bitcoin that is actually, to me, a good thing. You're going to hear what I'm about to say and think it's negative. I actually think it's very, very positive. Now, we told you before, if you go to bull markets past, right? If you were to come back into 2021 and you were to come back into 2017, we see these bearish divergences happen all the time in Bitcoin. And sometimes they end up being good calls right here, right? Sometimes they end up bringing us back down towards the weekly smart show. We saw it happen here in September. We also saw it happen here in March of 2017. But you see other situations like back here in November of 2015, bearish divergence, we did not make it back to that smart trail target that often plays out. Same thing if you fast forward over here and you go into the 2021 bull market, we had this bearish divergence, didn't make it. It actually took a very long time before it eventually came down, but this was mostly Elon. And then we had another one way over here, long-term bearish divergence that would have faked you out as well. So we got accustomed in past bull markets to see bearish indicators, but say, you know what? In the crypto markets, the bullishness can get going so far, so fast. Sometimes you have to take bearish indicators with a grain of salt, and they don't always work out. In fact, a lot of times, this indicator in general, the bearish divergence on the weekly chart, didn't work out to bring us back down to a local target. Okay, I want to make sure it's clear here. What we knew, though, about this bull market, this is the bull market of institutional adoption, meaning institutions are really calling the shots. And we've told you for over a year now, since they got it brought in with ETFs, do not be surprised about the increased manipulation. All right. Has increased manipulation been bad for Bitcoin? No, because the ETF started back here in January 2024. And since the launch of ETFs, Bitcoin's price is up 138%. So clearly the bull market has continued despite institutional adoption. But if you thought they were going to make things easy on you, if you thought they were going to make this bull market look identical to the ones in the past, then you're just kidding yourself. They're going to play by their own rules. They're going to manipulate the markets up and down. And you might be saying, Tim, I thought this was good news. I thought we were going to talk about why this is a positive thing. Here is why this is a positive thing, because when the institutions get involved, the technical analysis actually gets a whole lot more reliable. Now, this hasn't happened just yet, but I want to point out to you guys right now, at this high we had recently, candle closes, the highest weekly candle close on Bitcoin is all the way up here around 104,300. It was set back here on December 9th. Well, if you look at this red line, this thin red line stretching across, that is telling us the weekly chart has bearish divergence, meaning that we had a lower high in oscillator action, but a higher high in price action. All right. And we probably should make a move back down towards the smart trail. Like I said, we're sitting on a lot of support. But if we break below the red line, if we break below 97,000 and lose the major support, I would not rule out this smart trail starting in the world of roughly $83,000, $82,000. If the bears start to push, this is going to be where institutions keep an eye on and say, hey, this is where we want to pull back to. This doesn't end the bull market. This doesn't make everything go away. In fact, this pullback would only be a pullback for Bitcoin of roughly 24%. In the grand scheme of things, that's really nothing in the Bitcoin world. It would be one of the larger pullbacks we've seen during this bull market, but it would not end the bull market whatsoever. On the lower end, I do think that the lower side of this is coming in around 76,000. Remember earlier, someone talked about 75,000. The reason I don't think 75 is going to happen is because this is still increasing. Just so you guys know, it's not going to happen like this week. This would take probably a couple weeks to play out, and this level is still increasing. By the time we actually met it, I think it's going to be somewhere in the world of 90 to 82, 83,000 dollars. What am I saying all this for? I'm saying all this to say, if this ends up happening, if we pull back down to this smart trail, A, you guys are going to get a very cheap Bitcoin to buy. And B, technical analysis in the world of crypto increases the probability, because now all of a sudden this helps us realize it's not about what people say, it's about what people do. And the charts tell us what people do. The news tells us what they're saying. And I, for one, would absolutely love a market, love a cycle where the technical analysis increases in probability rather than having to sort through all of the news, all of the charts, all the fundamentals, and take this whole approach. I love a holistic approach. I don't want to say I don't want it. But you know how easy it would be if you could just sit back and say, all right, we got a bearish indicator. We're going to pull back to this level. Why? Because historically, this is how institutions trade. Not everybody knows technical analysis. In fact, in the grand scheme of the world, very few people that invest in any stock, any crypto, any asset truly understand the charts. That's one of the reasons why institutions use it. It tracks psychological behavior of retail investors. People that are not looking at the charts, who are investing and trading emotionally, and technical analysis helps you realize the targets that the more experienced people are looking at. And right now, with institutions coming in, if that does happen, if we drop to 82,000 or somewhere in the area, that will be the confirmation to me that we all of a sudden can depend upon, increased dependence on technical analysis. That's not a bad thing whatsoever. But with that said, we're still living in a world of if. If price breaks below 97,000 on this news, you're probably looking in the mid $80,000 level for a next bounce on Bitcoin. But if we begin to increase, and by the way, we're back up above 100,000 while we're live. If we continue to rally here and we make a break back above that 4-hour smart show and get back above 105,000 with increased volume, which again, I think is a very distinct possibility, well, all of a sudden, you're not waiting on 85,000. You want to go ahead and prepare yourself because Bitcoin is going to explode to the upside. That's the world we're in right now. Could go up, could go down. Understand the details, understand the probabilities, and you will make a wise decision in the world of investing. If you want to know more, if you want to follow how I'm trading it, how I'm investing in it, just join our VIP trading group. I'm telling everybody everything I do. Trading, investing, I'm telling people when I'm buying, I'm telling people when I'm selling, I'm telling people when I'm longing, I'm telling people when I'm just putting my stop loss. If you want to get help with that, come join the VIP trading group right there in the description down below. We got more charts coming. We went through a lot right there just on the charts. It's time to get into the actual news here. We're going to talk about DeepSeek. We're going to talk about the potential lie that is happening and unpack just what this means for you and your future investments. Tshroom, let's go ahead and jump in here and break it down for anyone who doesn't know what is DeepSeek and what is the news for today.
Absolutely, Tim. Well, what you have done, Tim, really well is explained how is Bitcoin reacting to what I'm about to say. So let's get into what is Bitcoin reacting to. Let's get to the facts. And the best way to do that is not for me to give my opinion and my insights quite yet. Tim and I will provide that in just a second. Let's just look at the facts. Let's look at the actual evidence that we're seeing here. We'll start with this one. So this morning, this tweet went out. Chinese AI platform DeepSeek overtakes ChatGPT on Apple's App Store rankings in the United States. This is big, okay? This got an immediate response from David Sachs, who is the crypto and AI czar for the White House. He said this: DeepSeek R1 shows that the AI race will be very competitive and that President Trump was right to rescind the Biden executive order, which hamstrung American AI companies without asking whether China would do the same. Obviously not. I'm confident in the US, but we can't be complacent. Okay, so that's from David Sachs. This is from NVIDIA. This is a quotation from NVIDIA. NVIDIA says, DeepSeek's work shows how new models can be created, leveraging widely available models and compute that is fully export control compliant. Okay, there's a lot of details in here, but I'm going to give you one more bit of evidence here, and then we're going to zoom out, chat about what it means, and then we're going to examine more evidence. But let's get to this next piece of evidence that gets down narrowly into exactly what the innovation is here. Why is DeepSeek better than the NVIDIA-driven OpenAI? This is why. The technical breakthrough here was their novel approach to reward modeling. Rather than using complex neural reward models that can lead to reward hacking, they developed a clever rule-based system that combines accuracy rewards with format rewards. This simpler approach turned out to be more robust and scalable than the process-based reward models that others have tried. Now, some of you have no idea what that means. I'm kind of with you. I'm not going to sit here and claim to be a machine learning or AI developer, right? But this does get to the actual crux of what DeepSeek has been able to do that OpenAI AI has not. Now, that opens up some obvious questions. If you're smart at home, you probably are thinking of that. We'll get to that. But Tim, let's zoom out here. What is your understanding this far? Is this been clear? And what are your thoughts here? Is NVIDIA doomed? Based on this information, what are your thoughts at this point? And we do have more to cover, more evidence.
Yeah, let's be clear that this is not clear at all, and it was not meant to be clear. If this was clear, Bitcoin would either be benefiting from it and be shooting to the moon, or it would be really bad and it would be free falling. I mean, even NVIDIA is not doing well. We'll have to take a look at NVIDIA charts today. NVIDIA would be doing a lot worse than it actually is doing if the information was actually clear. What we're going to propose to you is no matter what the actual truth is, because it's not clear at all right now, I'm saying clear a lot. We're going to name this segment the clear segment. What's very clear is they didn't want it to be clear. They don't want you to actually understand what is happening right now, which is the number one reason why people should be wondering right now about, is this FUD? Is this actually true, or is it FUD? What is the lie? That's the clear thing. It's like there is a lie here somewhere. Somebody is lying. We're going to get into those details because there's a lot of things moving here. Who's lying? What are they lying about? Why are they lying about it? And what is happening that they don't want us to know about that we're missing completely? In other words, there is manipulation happening right now, and it's not 100% clear as to what that is. That's what we do know.
Yeah, absolutely. So the assertion is here that DeepSeek is doing what OpenAI has been doing with ChatGPT way more efficiently, meaning without the latest NVIDIA graphics processors, AI processors called the H100s. That's about to be key with the next bit of evidence. So DeepSeek has been able to do what OpenAI has done without the latest cutting edge computational products from NVIDIA. Okay. But have they? Have they been? And here is some evidence to the contrary of that, right? Billionaire and Scale AI CEO Alexander Wang is who we turn to next. Now, this is not a name that I'm super familiar with, right? But he got on CNBC, and this is what he said. DeepSeek has about 50,000 NVIDIA H100s that they can't talk about because of U.S. export controls that are in place. Now, these U.S. export controls are key. They're important. What you need to understand is China supposedly does not have access to H100s that are made by NVIDIA because the Biden administration forbade NVIDIA from being able to sell. It's an export ban to China, these very specific AI computational products. So this CEO, this tech CEO, Alexander Wang, says not so fast. They have them, and they have 50,000 of them, right? And here is kind of a smoking gun for me, someone I know, like, and trust, the official Elon Musk account. Okay, he says, obviously, agreeing here with the Scale.ai CEO. This is really the crux of the matter here in terms of what is the future of NVIDIA specifically. Because if Alexander Wang is correct here, and DeepSeek and their representatives are lying, and they're actually using H100s just like OpenAI, then there really hasn't been an innovation here, and NVIDIA is improperly priced to the downside. If Alexander Wang is wrong, and Elon is also wrong, then it's possible NVIDIA may be headed for disaster. And that opens up the door to a lot of other questions. What about the rest of crypto AI? What about U.S. equities that are AI driven and that have gotten a lot of investment on the promise of hyperscaling and AI products and services? So that's kind of where we are. This is the crux of the matter. Is DeepSeek and China lying? Do they have an incentive to lie, Tim, here? Do you think that China's lying, that DeepSeek do you think they're trying to deceive the market here, or do you think that they really have created an innovation?
We're going to take a look at something. Before I give an answer to that question, we got to look at what has been told to us already from a NVIDIA spokesperson, because this is going to help tie the knot on some really fishy details before I give my response about what I believe and what I think is happening. Really quickly, though, Smay, share my chart. What I know from the NVIDIA chart, though, is it is absolutely plummeted on this news. Again, the market's closed Friday the 24th, up here at $142 per share. Opened this morning at $1.24. Let's just start doing some math here. It opened in pre-markets 12% to the downside. All right, that's pretty big. And after a short little rebound, it has spent the rest of the day falling. Not dramatically, but falling. It's now down 17%, a little over 17% on the day. Something to be aware of. This is not a good-looking chart. NVIDIA should not like this. NVIDIA should be threatened by this new company. And oh, by the way, go back to my screen one more time. Sorry, Smay, didn't get to it in time. If you were lucky enough to buy at this second, in this time, you have bought a price of NVIDIA that we have not seen since October 3rd of 2024. All right, so remember that. We haven't seen this price in well over 3 months now. Tshroom, go ahead and read that quote from an NVIDIA spokesperson. Are they speaking doom and gloom? Are they speaking in fear? Are they trying to reassure people? What do they say about DeepSeek?
Absolutely. This is what they said. They said DeepSeek's work shows that new models can be created leveraging widely available models and compute that is fully export control compliant.
I could be wrong here. Someone else tell me in chat what you're thinking about this. That does not sound like what DeepSeek's doing is scary. What they're doing is wrong. That sounds like a attaboy. Good for you, DeepSeek. How about that? You're showing the world that we can do a lot of really cool things. Oh, whoop-de-doo. That doesn't sound like the words of someone who's afraid that the future of their company is in jeopardy. That actually sounds like somebody who knows something that we don't know. And again, going back to my screen, what we do know is that we have the cheapest NVIDIA we've seen in over 3 months. What we do know is there's a lot of fishiness about the details of what's actually happening over in China. And I'm here to propose the concept. The concept here is that this whole move was just one big manipulation move to buy cheap NVIDIA, the number one stock in the world. It says I'm sure not after this dip, but at one point it had the highest market cap of any company in the entire world. A big crash in the world of crypto, the hottest investment resource in the world. It's the newest thing in terms of money that people are just raving about, this whole move into the Web3 space. There is so much reeking stink of manipulation. You go off my chart now, May, because I'm not talking about the chart anymore. There's so much of a reason why this would make sense to be a manipulated move. It's not even funny. And the truth is, while DeepSeek maybe didn't surprise people in terms of being a company, this emergence, all of a sudden, boom, they're accomplishing things that a company with billions and billions of dollars of resources couldn't accomplish for $5 million. I mean, that's the gist here, is they're saying with a budget of $5 million, they have accomplished something that NVIDIA and OpenAI and all these other companies with billions of dollars have not wrapped their head around. And NVIDIA's okay with this? No, that doesn't sound right to me. China's lying, NVIDIA's lying, OpenAI, somebody's lying to us. And I'll tell you right now, I might not know the exact reason, but what I do know is the circumstances and the predicament we found ourselves in. We found ourselves in NVIDIA being down 17%, a steal of an investment, but no retail investor would want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. We find ourselves with Bitcoin being down almost 10%, a steal of an investment, yet nobody really wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole. This is the type of last shakeout manipulation moves we've seen historically from large-scale institutions. And the last thing I'll say here is, think about this, because some people are also going to, I think, Tshroom, you're going to go a little deeper here. This also makes the new president of the United States, Donald Trump, and his team look a little chaotic. This makes American-based companies look a little bit behind the eight ball, a little bit miscombobulated. And I want you to think about this. The manipulators are not American companies. They might run their company in America, but think about the BlackRocks and the JP Morgans and all these other large-scale, multi-trillion-dollar investing businesses. They don't care about America. They might put their business here. They might think that's best for their face. They don't care about America. They care about themselves. They control the media. They control how we take in that media. Even though they don't own Twitter, they still have large impact on how we take in information on the freest platform in the world. If you don't think that they understood this was happening and are benefiting from it, then you do not understand the world of investing. We haven't figured out all the pieces. We're looking at a puzzle piece right now that we haven't put all the pieces together. But one thing I can tell you, by the time we get the pieces together, it's going to spell manipulation one way or the other. And my guess is, while everybody's running around today with their chickens with their heads cut off, BlackRock, JP Morgan, and several other of their buddies are buying these dips in the stock market, in the crypto markets, and this will reveal itself in the next couple of days or next couple of weeks. I could be wrong, and we crash, but there's a lot of things unfolding right now that do not smell good, and when things don't smell good, odds are manipulation's at play.
Yep. Yeah. So, Tim, you want me to get into the deeper layer that we were discussing earlier with Tshroom?
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right.
There's a lot to unpack here, everybody. So we're not even going to give the fullness of unpacking it today. We'll have to probably extend this throughout the rest of the week because this is one of the biggest headlines we have seen, not just in 2025, in this bull market. So to think that we can unpack all this in a 1 hour long show, it's impossible. We just want to start this conversation and monitor it as it goes on. Sorry, Tshroom, didn't want to interrupt you, but set that stage and platform. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So here, go to my screen here, Smay. So this was the headline last week. This was one of Donald Trump's executive orders when he came in. He said President Trump announced $500 billion with a B AI investment partnering with OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank. This was Stargate, right? And is Stargate, right? Now this hasn't gotten off the ground because this is going to take time to create, right? But if I'm the Chinese government, if I'm the CCP, and I want to be perceived as continuing to maintain my hegemony in Asia and potentially being competitive globally, I don't like Stargate because Stargate is America taking the next step forward with a private and public partnership investment that has not been done before. Biden really kind of dropped the ball in a lot of ways by suppressing energy and AI availability. And now Trump is doing the opposite. He's hyper investing in this space. And it looks to me, right, and again, this is speculation, right? But this is a time where uncertainty is high. So speculation is appropriate if you're an investor. You need to understand what's going on, have theories, have game plans, have worst case scenarios, base case scenarios, worst case and best case scenarios, right? It looks to me like the CCP could have worked with DeepSeek with whatever level of legitimacy DeepSeek technology is to go ahead and take a shot at Donald Trump's big Stargate plan and show, this big Stargate plan, actually, we're going to pull out the rug from under you because all of that $500 billion, Microsoft's investments into OpenAI, NVIDIA's giant chip fabs that are superior to all the rest of the world's, and whatever the heck Oracle and SoftBank are doing, probably underwriting and managing the whole thing, is all for naught. Because DeepSeek can do all this for $5 million and 200 people and do it all in 2 months. So it is a very big card for China / DeepSeek to play. And it does, if I'm Donald Trump, this does rattle me. This does have me a little bit worried, a little bit concerned, because this huge plan, this huge deal that I just closed, a public-private partnership that looks really, really good internationally, has just kind of had the rug pulled out from under it. Now, there is also so Tim, I'll allow you to react to that, but there's some deeper magic here as well.
I don't think I need to go too much deeper there. I think you laid it out very well. I'm actually more interested. I'll let you clean that one up. I'm interested to get into, let's talk about some more details. Let's actually talk about, let's pretend DeepSeek is here as a main player. It's here to stay. Everything we're hearing is true. What does that actually mean for Bitcoin and crypto? I want to get into that conversation, and then we'll check out some altcoin charts. But you wrap up this segment, we'll move into what this means for crypto.
Yeah, well, I think the deeper layer here is that it could be a temporary blow. It could be a short-lived kind of reaction from China, taking advantage of a slightly slower news cycle, right, of the last 24 hours. Because last week it was very difficult to get any attention because the inauguration, Donald Trump's executive orders, was all people cared about. But now, this week, if you noticed, things slightly slowed down. Not completely, but it's slightly slowed down. So if I'm China, it's a perfect opportunity for me to insert this big, explosive story. Oh my gosh, Stargate is irrelevant because we got DeepSeek, right? So that's kind of the deeper magic, is that it could potentially be a temporary blow, and the truth could come out. The things that Alexander Wong were pointing out, the truth could come out that this DeepSeek is competitive, but it's only competitive because China has figured out a way to obfuscate the export restrictions from NVIDIA. And I can come up with 5 ways just off the top of my head of how you could do that if you're Beijing, right? So if I can do it, they probably did it. So that's really kind of the deeper magic, the 4D chess, right? Now, does that affect Bitcoin? Does that affect your portfolio? Not really. I'd say that has much more to do with geopolitics, and that's kind of starts to get a little bit out of our lane. So we want to come back and talk about how does this affect Bitcoin? How does this affect crypto? And Tim, how does it do it?
Well, let's be very clear. Again, we're gonna pause for a second on manipulation talk. We're gonna pause on conspiracy talk. Let's pretend every large agency in the world is telling us 100% the truth, and NVIDIA is in trouble. Okay, we're gonna run this. We're gonna run this route now. What does this mean about your crypto holdings? Okay, NVIDIA is in trouble, right? We already said that NVIDIA is going to go down. AI cryptos, especially American-based AI cryptos, are in trouble. So again, thinking the renders, thinking the FETs, thinking of these newer ones, these companies are in trouble. In fact, you guys have been watching, some of you guys have been watching our Rate My Portfolio metrics and looking at our how we're rating people's portfolio, giving them ratings. There's a section called niche where we include different niches we think that people should have some exposure to. And one of those exposures was AI. Well, until we get more clarity, I'm going to temporarily suspend that niche. I don't think AI right now is a very clear necessary investment. But how does this affect Bitcoin and layer ones and non-AI related crypto? The answer is it doesn't hurt them whatsoever. Was this a mini black swan event that caused fear, uncertainty, and doubt and a crash in the markets? 100%. Clearly, that is what happened. But even the ones that are based in the United States, even the ones that would benefit from the US doing well, cryptos are not tied to one country or another. And there's nothing inherently about DeepSeek that threatens the power and the wealth management of Bitcoin and the power of Solana and the power of Chainlink and the power of Cardano and the power of XRP. They do not threaten these cryptos whatsoever. Did we sell off because the market had uncertainty and chaos? Absolutely. But this is not the end of crypto. So no one should be looking at this and saying, man, DeepSeek looks like it's taking over and we got to sell all of our crypto. No. That, even if everyone is telling us 100% of the truth and NVIDIA is in trouble, that will not have an impact on crypto. Because guess what? It's not just Americans that buy crypto. China will buy crypto. Russia will buy crypto. India will buy crypto. Europe will buy crypto. South America will buy crypto. And America will still buy crypto even if our American-based AI stocks are going down the tank. In fact, you might see people say, all right, I have this massive amount of holding in NVIDIA. Looks like NVIDIA's in trouble. Where should I put this money? Oh, look at that. Bitcoin looks really good today. Oh, Chainlink and XRP look like they're in a good buying spot. Let me just move this liquidity on over into these crypto assets. That's what you need to understand. Nothing inherently about this story is actually super bearish about crypto. And this goes back to what we were saying earlier. Go back to my screen here, which, by the way, our VIP members, I told people we were trading live today. Don't be surprised if while we're live, Bitcoin finally actually breaks out. If you go to low time frame, again, we were trading right in this chaos right here during our show today, during the last 40 minutes, Bitcoin now back above $101,000. We're moving here. My overall point, though, earlier, if you didn't see the technical analysis, we talked about if-then statements. We talked about could go up, could go down, and how if Bitcoin falls below this red line here, if it breaks below $97,000, all of a sudden you're looking at the weekly chart and you're saying, man, there's a chance we make a run all the way down here into the mid-80s before we stop. But then you talk about the bullish scenario, go back to the 4-hour chart. We do have this level of resistance, this last great level of resistance up here on 105. But if we break above that, it's free reign up above us. I mean, the liquidations to the upside, the amount of shorts that we would start to target and exit and break to the upside, breaking up towards 115, it would be open market on the bear. So you have to understand the if-then statements. But my overall point here is not only do the charts show a good little bounce here on the support, even when you follow this news, when you follow what's happening with DeepSeek and what's happening, the only reason Bitcoin crashed to the downside was because of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Nobody knew what was happening. All we knew was this new company in China that most people had never heard of before is going to be a threat to NVIDIA and OpenAI and Microsoft and others. everything in the tech stock fell off. But now, as the details and everything is being exposed, people are going to wake up and realize, oh, wait a minute, this doesn't threaten Bitcoin or crypto whatsoever. And there's already 117 reasons to be bullish on Bitcoin. This one was a temporary question mark, and all of a sudden we're unpacking it. We're saying, no, this doesn't change anything. There's still a reason to invest in crypto. The only benefit we now actually see is if you had bought this, little more than 24 hours ago, yesterday around 3 p.m., about 24 hours ago, you would have had to buy at 105. You now have the ability, even right now late, to buy below $102,000. This is a golden opportunity for those who take advantage of it. But for those who don't do their research, who don't think critically, who don't ask the hard question about why the composite man does what he does, you're going to live in fear. You're going to stay down here. You're going to freak out, and you're going to let the bull market take off without you. That's not the boat you want to be living in right now. Set up stop losses. I'm not telling you don't. Maybe buy it here and say, you know what? I want to buy at 101, but if we drop below 97,000, I want to take my profits and wait for a much lower transaction. Do that. Learn how to set stop losses in your investments and in your trades. But don't be the kid who freaks out every time you see a bearish candle and convince yourself that means it's the end. The bull market's over. Once again, zoom out before you freak out. Does anything about this chart look terrible when you look at it from this perspective? Does this look terrible to you? Does this look like a colossal crash in the Bitcoin markets? I'll give you the answer. The answer is no. And there's too many people acting like the price is sitting down here this morning. That is not what's happening. Bitcoin is still extremely bullish. And this headline, while it was scary and while it confused a lot of people, is not a threat to Bitcoin's and crypto space moving forward in this bull market. Tshroom, anything you want to say on that before we transition? I got some charts I want to do from some altcoins, and we'll do a little bit of Q&A, but anything you want to kind of sum up there before we wrap up this topic?
There is a pretty funny irony going on, which has been brought up by this cool Twitter account called Bitcoin News. So check it out on my screen here. So DeepSeek calls for a 180,000 to 220,000 Bitcoin cycle top price by November of 2025. So somebody prompted it, and people have done this with ChatGPT and other AIs, but this one's pretty funny. It's just ironic for all of the frenzy of today. But the conclusion is a synthesis of halving cycles and on-chain data and macroeconomic trends points to a cycle top of 200,000 by November 2025, with a range of 180 to 220,000. This aligns with historical patterns adjusted for moderating returns and institutional adoption. So I personally think that this estimate is underballing what it could be, but it is kind of funny that this new AI that's it's not new, but new to most people, AI is saying that Bitcoin's going to be much higher by the end of 2025. So it's just a fun little irony that's spun into the web of the day. But one thing I did want to point out, Tim, is that one thing that we look for is something called a black swan, right? And earlier this morning, before I did a lot of deep research to be able to bring all this information to you all, I was kind of under the impression this could be a black swan event. I am now pretty convinced that this is not, considering we've had almost a whole day of trading now. The markets will close here in just a few minutes, and NVIDIA, while it's down and it's hurt a lot of people who've invested in it and been overexposed to it, it's not down 30%. It could be a lot worse. Right. The S&P 500 is not down double digits. Right. It could be a lot worse. One thing that I turn to, though, is this measurement here. And the ticker is quite long, but the ticker is BAMLC0A0CM. And this is the ICE Bank of America U.S. Corporate Index Option Adjusted Spread. Wow, what a mouthful. Don't worry. You don't need to fully understand exactly what that means. But essentially what this means is that amount of risk that investors are taking between corporate bonds and fixed rate government bonds has not changed significantly. Okay, so these huge spikes here in 2020, that was the pandemic, and then back here in 2009, this was a very, very big spike. Right, these were periods of unrest where investors pulled their investments not in stocks of corporations, but the bonds of corporations. Yes, corporations also have bonds. They took it out of corporate bonds and put it into government bonds, which is seen as lower return but much lower risk. And so what we're seeing here is if this was a black swan event, if the financial crisis type event was around the corner, if a pandemic type event was around the corner and the market was trying to sniff that out, it has not shown in the credit spreads just yet. So no black swan, very, very good, because the market is scared. And so in the short term, there's some pretty discounted assets. Now, am I going out and bulk buying a bunch of AI? Not so fast. I think we're only at the first chapter of this probably multi-week story to see how this unfolds for NVIDIA specifically. But for assets that are uncorrelated to AI, I'm absolutely looking to deploy some dry powder into things like Bitcoin, right? And things like ExxonMobil and things like Caterpillar and Walmart, stocks and crypto that have nothing to do with AI, that are going to thrive in a world where AI completely goes to zero. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's what I want to get exposure to, is uncorrelated assets that are being repriced because we can let go of the assets.
Very, very good. Guys, we're going to do some technical analysis here on a couple of altcoins that we love here and maybe engage with one or two chat questions. Really quickly, though, almost 1,400 people still in live on YouTube, but only 330 likes. Go smash that like button right now if you've enjoyed the show. Also, go share my screen here real quickly. We're going to take a look at Chainlink here in just a second. Key levels and key details about what the chart has done here. But I saw a question in chat earlier, and I want to give this time to shout out our sponsor, which is Lux Algo. If you guys wonder how we do these charts and you want to do it similar to how we do it, you want to go buy Lux Algo in the description down below. When you go to check out, you'll see these options, though. Someone asked in chat, which one do you have to join the VIP trading group? Because that's one of the cool things is when you use our link to buy Lux Algo, number one, you get 20% off. So you want to use our link, get the bros discount, 20% off. But you also, if you buy the premium or the ultimate package, that is what gets you access to the VIP trading group. Reason I would say the ultimate, yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but it comes with AI backtesting and assistant. Pretty much you can plug in different strategies, trading strategies, and the AI will backtest that strategy for you and tell you the probability of that trade being correct or not. This is like a cheat code for trading. Yes, go check out Lux Algo right now and go sign up for the premium or the ultimate level membership, and then join our Discord and get into our VIP trading group today. Let's take a look at Chainlink this afternoon. Taking a look here now, I want to show you what actually happened here. A couple of days ago, we actually did have a daily sell signal from Lux Algo. If you're wondering, what am I talking about? Let's take a look here. Well, number one, we had a bearish reversal indicator coming in here. We also had bearish reversal dot. Okay. So when you're looking for a sell signal or a buy signal, you're looking for the main three things to happen. Reversal dot up top, gray reversal dot to the downside. You got a boost of having bearish divergence. Okay. That thin red line there means you had bearish divergence. And now all of a sudden over the last day and a half, we've had negative money flow. All right. That is the trifecta, the bearishness here. Well, when you look at this, while it can drop deeper, the only thing you're darn near close to guaranteed to see when you see a sell signal is if you're above a blue smart trail, also from Lux Algo and the signals and overlays, you're probably going to go down 90% of the time. You're going to hit that smart trail. You're not guaranteed to go below it. You can, but you are guaranteed to come in here. Well, guess what's happened? Again, we had the sell signal, and within two candles, Chainlink came and wicked down at $22.19, double bottom with a wick from here a couple days ago into that smart trail. And now what is developing here on the daily chart, if we close anywhere in this world, currently we're at 24 cents. Look at this blue candle, bearish candle, but long lower wick. I told you earlier, long lower wicks, more often than not always, but more often than not, mark big bottom potentials. Take a look at this candle back here on January 13th. Take a look at this candle back here on December 20th. Take a look at this candle right here on December 9th. These are all the beginning signs of the bottom of a pullback being in. And yes, the daily candle did have a sell signal. The daily chart had a sell signal. Guess what? The sell signal has hit its target. We are not obligated to go lower. What I tell people is, let's pretend this candle was sitting down here. I would say what you're looking for next is how does the rest of this candle respond? Does it shoot back to the upside? Do we see high volume do it? These are all the signs that we're actually looking for to say This is a conveniently nice looking bottom candle. Let's watch how this plays out in other time frames, but very good call right there. When I move up to the weekly chart, again, people are going to say, let's look at longer time frames. This was another one that we had a temporary sell signal back in here. We came down, we touched that smart trail. We're now sitting in kind of a neutral territory on the weekly chart where we don't have to be bearish, we don't have to be bullish. So you can only look at this speculatively, but there's nothing screaming on the weekly chart, have to go up, have to go down. There's no long-term major bearish divergence telling us we have to correct. There's not a lot we can say here on the weekly chart. That's why you start to look at the lower ones, like the daily, we hit a target. You start to go down towards the 4-hourly chart, where, again, we came down, we touched down towards this green support level. We went below our smart trail. Let's see how that one is performing, though. And we're going to start talking about shorter time frame stuff. Right now, just like Bitcoin, we are on the precipice of a 4-hour buy signal. The exact opposite of that sell signal I just talked about. Green reversal, green momentum to the upside. This money flow, while it's red, is looking like it wants to slowly turn over. And when we start to see positive money flow here, we'll have our trifecta. We'll have a buy signal on Chainlink. And then what you're going to want to do to confirm that we're bullish, well, we're probably at least going to come back up towards 24.82, back up towards 25. If we can break above $25.50 and turn this bullish, it's only a matter of time before you probably see a buy signal on charts like the 8-hour, 12-hour, and then before you know it, the daily chart is flashing buy signal once again. Where we are starting to see buy signals, 1-hour chart, okay? I'm not saying there can't be a pullback. I'm sure if we did some heavy analysis, there might be a small pullback, but we have the green reversal, bullish momentum, and that's positive money flow right there. What this means on the short term, we're almost hitting that resistance level. We're coming back up into this $24 level. We could see a small pullback, but while we stay this bullish, we keep building that case for the 4-hour chart to go bullish as well. This would be a very, very good sign. And then after that, we're looking for a break above 25 to really get the ball rolling towards being bullish once again on Chainlink. ONDO popping up here back. It actually shot up here recently, back up as high as 138. What was that? Is that this last hour? Yeah, last hour. During the live show, we came up after a buy signal here on the Luxago oscillator. Green reversal, bullish momentum, positive money flow, excessive sellers leave. You love it. We rejected on the smart trail, but we're on the precipice, just like everything else. We are very close to getting a buy signal on the 4-hour chart for ONDO. Then all of a sudden, we're looking up above $1.40 for ONDO. If we can break above $1.46, all of a sudden, ONDO becomes very bullish as well. You're going to see this across several different things. We had a nice buy signal here. Actually, we haven't even fully gotten the bullishness here. I think we're on our way to getting a nice buy signal to send ONDO back up towards 160 because we got this buy signal coming in right here. We have not touched the smart trail since then. My best guess with a long, again, look at the daily candle today, long lower wick. We could be about to start a very strong push back up here towards 160, according to what I'm seeing here on these longer time frames. I'm gonna call it right there. Let's read the super chat, and then we're gonna be kind of wrapping out the show here over the next little bit. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you smashed that like button. Whether you agreed or disagreed, if you enjoyed being here and hearing different takes, make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well. Super chat from NMCT said, just joined. DeepSeek lied. Just ask it how long it's been in development and ask what year does the data come from. 2023. Can't edit videos, pictures, use real-time data or CCP compliant. Now I can't verify anything NMCT is saying here, but that is interesting. Again, I told you earlier, I don't know all the details of what was lied about, when it was lied about, how it was lied about, why it's lying about it. All we know from what we've seen happen in the last 24 hours is somebody and something is lying to us, and the odds are the reason for that is price manipulation. In a bull market where things were getting a little too boring and chummy, they had to do something with it, spike some sort of news, confuse retail investors, let the rich buy cheap crypto, cheap stocks. It's a tale as old as time. But thank you so much for that super chat, NMCT. Yeah, I got screenshots. And NMCT, go join our Discord. Drop those. If you guys want to hear from NMCT and what he's done research on, go join our free Discord, and that would be awesome to see in there. Dean Turner said it was lied. It was lied about so Fink and the guys can buy low. Dean, I think you're onto something. I think you're very, very, very on to the nose with that one. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to do our factoid of the day, and then we're going to tune out. Again, if you guys do not have Lux Algo, go purchase it right now. Go get the premium or the ultimate level membership, and you can join our VIP trading group and get 20% off the greatest indicator. on earth for trading these markets. Smay, you're going to bring you up. What is our factoid of the day, my friend?
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Factoid of the Day, brought to you by Decrypted.tax. And also, if you want to go to the premier place to discuss trading and all things crypto, please check out our free Discord in the description linked down below. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Here we have our question. It is, which well-known U.S. online retailer first announced that it would accept Bitcoin payments for its products back in 2014? A, Amazon, B, Overstock, C, eBay, or D, Best Buy?
I'm going B.
Overstock, really.
Yeah, the CEO of Overstock is like really controversial, outspoken guy, so I could see him going pro Bitcoin early on. And also, if Amazon, eBay, or Best Buy had ever enabled Bitcoin payments, I definitely would have known and / remembered that. Doesn't mean they couldn't have taken them away, but I don't remember any of those.
I'm fairly certain it's not A, because we've heard a lot of negativity from Amazon in the past about it. Yeah, I was leaning towards C or D, but I'm going to trust your judgment here. I think that's a good rationale that Overstock.com. See, I could easily see it being C. I could easily see it being eBay temporarily, and then they discontinued it. But I'm gonna if you feel good about B over C, you want to go with B, Shroomy?
Well, I don't feel good about it. I feel great about
All right, we're going B. We're going B.
All right.
If we're right, we're both smart, and if we're wrong, it's all Shroom's fault.
All right. And without further ado, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, it was B, Overstock. And I had never heard of it.
Call there.
So I never heard of Overstock. And so it's a good thing that Tshroom is a well-learned man. But without further ado, I'll send it back to you guys. Back to you, Tim.
Yanni Denmark said this could be very bullish long term. Again, I believe in a slower but much longer run. We hope so. Yanni, again, we talked about that. This is manipulation, but I don't see this as being a negative for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's pumping. I mean, cryptos are pumping. ONDO up over 135. Come on, Link over 24. Bitcoin, flirting with that 102. I agree with you 100%. This is bullish. XRP Timster, my name is Tim, and no one will talk to me because of this shyster that acts like you. I don't know what that means, but
I've got some.
I love the word shyster. Anytime we can work that into the show, that's a win. What are you gonna say?
I've got some after, kind of into the stream thoughts here, and I'm about to start my Q&As here right after the stream. So whenever this is done and you're a member of the Brolux member, you can get access to Q&As where I mostly do TA and teach you how to do TA if you want to learn more. But right now, there's some important things to remember, right? Because right now, I'm going to be honest with you, we're all caught up in this DeepSeek AI frenzy because it is affecting some of us, right? I've got a stock called Core Z that's down like 30% today. I'm not happy about that, right? So I'm right there with you all in the trenches. I don't have as much NVIDIA maybe as some of you all listening. But here's the reality is that there's a lot of, and I mean a lot of bullish momentum building, not just for Bitcoin, but also for crypto. But that doesn't mean that macro forces aren't affecting the prices in the short to mid-term. That's what we're seeing today. That's why Bitcoin crypto is down, is because of a macro force. That's the AI narrative is kind of coming in more than is appropriate, and the market's trying to reprice. But there are some other things coming up this week, which is the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell will be speaking. We'll go live for it on Wednesday. That is something that the market will be anticipating. Of course, the market already knows that we're going to get a pause more than likely for the January decision. However, Jerome Powell could say something, signal something bullish or bearish, hawkish or dovish that could potentially reprice the markets that was not baked in. But what you do need to know is that this week has a lot of uncertainty baked into it. There is the first order effects of this DeepSeek kind of frenzy that's happened, but there's sure to be second and third order effects of what we've seen today, because it had a big impact on the world's most popular stock, NVIDIA, right? So just be prepared. Uncertainty is very high, but again, like I showed you, those corporate to U.S. Treasury credit spreads are very thin. They're very narrow, signaling that investors don't think that there's a big, bad, scary event coming anytime soon. So rest assured, crypto's going to be doing very well 2025. but uncertainty is high. Got the Fed meeting on Wednesday, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm here for it, baby. This is makes me feel so alive to try to conquer all these markets and solve these puzzles.
There we go. Real quickly before we load it out, let me share my screen one more time. Take a look at what's happening right now in the S&P 500. The last 5-minute candle of the day, because they're closed at 4 o'clock today. Biggest candle, right, during this whole thing. But take a look. It shot back up pretty much to the high, and now post-market is already trading at the peak of where we even got to today. NVIDIA as well. If you go to the NVIDIA channel, while it didn't get a massive pump in the last 5 minutes, post-market is already trading higher once again. These things happen towards the end of the day. This is another sign. I just want you guys to know, another sign of manipulation is in a very confusing day. In the weaning moments, the last couple minutes possible, things start to pump, and then boom, they close the markets right before retail can catch the pump. Do not get confused. Do not get flooded out. Guys, we are still so bullish right now. If you go off my screen here, Smay, so bullish right now in the markets. But if you're not careful, if you're not vigilant, if you don't study and invest in your education, you're going to get flooded out. You're going to be convinced the bull market's over. And then months from now, a year from now, you're going to live in a world of regret where you said, why couldn't I just hodl on? When in doubt, zoom out, hodl on, my friends. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. See you then. Adios.